Hello, Cousin Johnny here. Welcome to Buzzing with Cousin. Before we start the show, I'd like to shout out to the sponsors of this show, Destination 831, social media marketing, live streaming, promote yourself, promote your business. Destination 831. You can look for them on Facebook. I Heart You Candles and Gifts at 321 Lighthouse Avenue. Beautiful handmade candles with love. Max Fit Market at 520 Fremont. Grab and go healthy meals. Delicious if you're on the run or if you just want to grab them and have a great meal. That garlic stuff. If you like garlic, you're going to love it. Put it on just about anything. It's going to taste really nice and garlicky. Garlic bread, pasta, whatever. Found at Farmers Market on Tuesday, or go to their website, thatgarlicstuff.com, for other locations. Carmel Valley Sweet Spot. Wine tasting, olive oil, sandwiches, soups, baked goods. Check out Carmel Valley Sweet Spot, number 9 Delfino Place in sunny Carmel Valley. Please support all these local businesses and all local businesses. Let's keep the business here. Thank you so much.
That was awesome. He's a velociraptor whale.
Hello, how's everybody doing out there? Cousin Johnny here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We just had a show of some whales giving us a show. And because we're going to talk WhaleFest today, so we're going to get right to it. I'd like to introduce a special guest. She's the chairperson of the WhaleFest. She's been the president of the Monterey Wharf Association for years. Her and her family, they had restaurants here for 50 plus years. And she does a lot for this beautiful community we live in. So please let me introduce Mary Alice Cerrito Fettis.
Cousin Johnny, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for coming on.
You bet. So that clip that we were just listening to, I was trying to figure out what those humpbacks were doing. If they were doing bubble wrapping, which they create bubbles that help them net the fish. And I think that was what was starting to happen in that clip. Yeah. They're absolutely brilliant the way that they have evolved their hunting structure. The way that they surround the fish and they blow bubbles and they create this massive net of bubbles that the fish can't get out of. And then all of a sudden, then they start lunge feeding. And of course, if you go whale watching, that's really an exciting experience to have them lunge feeding. I have to say, one time I was whale watching, and I don't remember which company it was with. They're all good, and they all have marine biologists with them. A whale was asleep. I go, you got to be kidding me. The whale was asleep. And so it was really deep breathing. And everybody on the boat was really quiet because they didn't want to wake up the whale. Yeah. And they were breathing along with the whale. And everybody was on the side of the boat with the whale. as it would breathe in and out, and everybody was so calm and so quiet. Anyway, for me, it was a very amusing experience.
Yeah,
As I was breathing right along everybody else, and I was being quiet, so we didn't wake up the whale. It was crazy. Anyway, I highly recommend that for an additional experience once you've experience the lunge feeding, which is when they come soaring out of the water. And anyway, that's
beautiful.
very exciting.
They were
So
listening to you breathe probably too. Those are smart creatures. Yeah, WhaleFest has been we lost 1 year with that pandemic. Last year you did it did you do it
virtually,
virtually
it
and you did
was virtually.
a beautiful job.
I miss that. The whole experience with WhaleFest is an interactive marine experience, and to have it virtual. Oh, I'm so glad we were able to do it virtually, but thank goodness we're able to be in person this year. So we're celebrating the 12th annual Whale Fest.
Wow, 12 years.
And along with that, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the National Marine Sanctuaries around the United States. And we're also celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. So WhaleFest has 7 different components to it. We have the symposium with world experts in their field who come from the Monterey area, representing usually the 18 research institutes that are here. And we have the exhibitors, which this year we have a couple of dozen of marine nonprofits who have just very extraordinary experiences for people to learn from. And then we have the Marine Mammal Center has a release, and over the last couple of years it's always been very exciting to have them release a patient into the bay, the Monterey, at Monterey Beach. And I'll go into all of that a little bit more. We have musicians and we have activities, and then we have research and rescue vessels. So we try to be everything for everybody, as well as a learning experience for whether you're 5 years old or you've got 5 PhDs in marine biology. So there's hopefully something for everyone to have a marine learning experience. So going to the symposium, we've got 2 special components to it this year.
Okay.
One will be Sam Farr and Dan Hafley. Sam Farr, of course, is our former congressman.
Yeah.
They're going to explain the sweat that it took over several decades to put together the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. It didn't happen overnight. It wasn't like somebody said, hey, I got a great idea. Let's put this through Congress, and tomorrow we're going to have a sanctuary. No, it took a long time. And so they'll go through the vagaries of that. And then Lisa Wunick, who is the current superintendent of the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary, will bring us up to speed as to what is happening in our very dynamic bay, as well as the expansion that's happening. So we're going to be stretching down to a brand new sanctuary called the Chumash Sanctuary in the Santa Barbara area. So we are going to have about a quarter of the California coastline protected, which is, for me, very exciting. And so she'll talk about that. Another component of the symposium that is completely different this year is that we're going to have the fishing cultural history of the bay. So we're going to be talking about how did the Native Americans affect the bay, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Portuguese, and the Sicilians. And so we've got the top representatives from these organizations that will be explaining their history. So Larry Oda, who was president of the JACL, the Japanese American Cultural League, and Tony Goulart from the Portuguese, president of the Portuguese Association, Cultural Association, and then and Bob Ania, who represents the Sicilian community. His family owned the Western Flyer that Doc Ricketts and Steinbeck went to the Sea of Cortez on. They leased it, and he will explain all about that history, the Sicilian history, and then we seg into Bill Gilley, who will tell us about the Western Flyer Foundation, which is bringing the Western Flyer to Monterey, and it should be here within a few months, and it will have marine classes that it will take students out on the bay in order to have that have a learning experience. So we're very excited about that, along with so that's the front and back on the symposium. But we also have some rather interesting professors from Hopkins Marine Station as well as CSUMB. So we have Corey Garza from CSUMB, who will be telling about drone research in the Bay. He's got a bunch of drones. Dan Fernandez has an institute at CSUMB that collects fog and turns it into water. And so what are the repercussions there? And then Kelly Sorensen from the Ventana Wildlife Society. Johnny, would you have ever thought that condors are necessary for our marine health? I never, ever would have occurred to me.
Tell us about it.
And so that's what Kelly's going to tell us about, as well as how our condors are doing. Now, Matt Savoca who's also from Hopkins, has a sophisticated title to his talk. It's called Baleen Whale Prey Consumption and Its Effects on Marine Ecosystems. What that means is that he's studying whale poop. So that's a nice way of saying it. And then Peggy Stapp is going to be talking about disentangling whales and what's happening with the the quick release. You know, over the years, they've been developing that quick release for the shrimp pots and the crab pots that, of course, are the cause of the whales becoming entangled. So, you know what? I'm going to back up a second. I forgot to say, Tim Thomas is the one who's going to be telling the story about the Native Americans and the Chinese and gluing that whole cultural history together. And for anyone who doesn't know about Tim, he is just one walking museum. He is incredible. And he will have two walks on the wharf during the WhaleFest on Saturday and Sunday at 12 and 1:30. And so, I mean, the man could talk for years and never touch on the same subject. And it's all about the Bay and our history and our culture. It's just nonstop. So to move on a little bit to the various exhibitors that we have, there's the American Cetacean Society, the California Killer Whale Project. I'm skipping around a little bit. Elkhorn Slough National Estuarian Research Reserve. If you haven't been over to Elkhorn Slough, it's fascinating. I mean, there is just so much going on there. Just if you're just studying all of the different growth that happens within the estuary, and you know, it's one of the few remaining in California. I think there's Boca Chica or something like that in Southern California. But this is phenomenal, and we've been reclaiming it over the years. There's these foundations that keep on purchasing the dairy land and turning it back into the slough. So, but one of a really fabulous experience, after whale watching, is to rent a kayak over at
Oh yeah, nice.
and see they're called rafts of otters that are there. So you might see 30, maybe more, all bunched up together and having a gay old time, and just and they're just they're so sociable and so cute. But the fact is that when you're, at the Monterey Wharf or your Wharf 2 or whatever, you're lucky if you see, a mom and a baby. You can get really excited over that. But there, I mean, it's just like it's huge. It's like going to Africa and seeing, herds of, I don't know, wildebeest or something. And anyway, it's very, very exciting. What everything that we offer just in our in our county, in our bay. It's just anyway.
What a great area, beautiful area.
Oh, so, absolutely. So we have a few more. There's another group that, and I don't remember the name of them. They're a youth group from Seaside that's sponsored by Monterey Signs, and they are going to be having an interactive booth whereby they are presenting the formation of abalone, and they'll be talking about abalone. So I'm very excited about that. They have not done this before. Monterey Abalone Company has given them their blessing and supported them to do this presentation. So look for an abalone booth. So there's so I'll push on a little bit. The musicians that we have are not reimbursed by the WhaleFest. They are able to collect some tips from the general public. So keep in mind that these people are creative and they've given their time and their energy. If you could please support them so that we can come back again next year. So we're going to have the Seaside High School Jazz Ensemble, the Monterey High School Jazz Ensemble. My husband, Nicholas Fettis, will be there with his whale songs and the music that he's composed to complement those whale songs. And Monterey Improvisational Group will get together and play something.
Wow.
There's a violinist, there's a pianist, and several other instruments. They will get together and they will play something that you have never heard before, nor have they, because that's who they are. They are an improvisational group. So they can play something incredibly unique. And if you want to hear it again, you better record it yourself, because it's just not out there. Stu Hayden, whom a lot of you know, great blues musician. And then my husband and Michael Martinez will play together. And so far, that's the Saturday lineup. Oh, for those of you who don't know Michael Martinez, he's the one with the grand piano at the Big Sur Marathon at Bixby Creek, and he plays just gorgeous music. And my husband and Nicholas Fettis and Michael Martinez love collaborating together.
I've heard them. They're really great together. It's really.
And then we have another group called the Bard and the Bird. It's Chris and Holly Baldwin, who are play Irish music. So it's Irish Week. It will just have been Irish Week, but it's okay to celebrate St. Patrick's Day for a couple of weeks or whatever. And then we'll have Richard Carr will join us, and he's also going to have some whale sound to his music. And then we're going to finish Sunday off with Jonah and the Whale Watchers. If you aren't familiar with them, you can't sit down. They play fabulous reggae music, and it just has everybody just jumping and loving it. And it's really, they're just a wonderful asset. And when I called them up to say, hey, will you be available to play? Oh yeah, we'll be there. Yeah, they're just so much fun. And then so we've got a couple of vessels at the end of Wharf 2, at the end of Fisherman's Wharf at the California dock. So you go all the way to the end of Fisherman's Wharf, and there's the restaurant, Rockfish Harbor Grill, which used to be Rappa's. And so, and you turn left there, you go down the stairs, and you can go on the boats that are there. So one of the research vessels is the Currency, which is the vessel that goes out into the water, collects a lot of information on WhaleFest, documents their flukes, and shares that information all up and down the California coast with the research people. And plus, there's a whole lot of more that they do than that. And they also are the ones who do the whale entanglement. And so that is the whale entanglement team boat. And then we have a boat from the Coast Guard. It's called the 47-footer, which is they're terribly original. I don't know the name of it, but that's what they call it, the 47-footer.
Perfect.
This is a self-riding boat. So in other words, high seas, it turns over, it flips right back up and makes it, kind of like a rubber duck. It just turns right back up. And I don't know I hope the crew is tied down, because I don't know what happens to them while the boat is flipping all around. But anyway, that's what it does. It's a rescue boat. And so you're able to go onto the Currency and the 47-footer. Now, the 47-footer, because it's a Coast Guard rescue boat, we are hoping no one needs to be rescued. It will be there as long as there's no emergencies at sea.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
So it will, the people who, the crews of these boats love to have the public come and learn what they do and explain different parts of the boat and how they work and so forth. And it doesn't really matter if you, are walking with a cane or you're 5 years old. They want to share their knowledge with you. So that's really exciting. We have a couple of other activities. Scrimshaw and Gyutaku celebrate part of our cultural history on the wharf. So the Japanese custom of stenciling called Gyutaku, we do that with squid and sardines that are donated by Monterey Fish Company. So what you do in this situation is you take the fish and spread it out. Make sure you spread out the fins and you spread out the tentacles. And then you can paint your fish squid whatever color you want. Now, if you want to get, biologically correct, that's fine. Yeah. If you want to create rainbow fish, you can do that.
Yeah, whatever.
So, whatever you do. And so then you are able to create this. And in the meantime, this is something that you learn about, our Japanese culture here. And then the other one is from our Portuguese and Basque heritage of scrimshaw. So we had the great whalers that went out from Monterey Bay, and on those long voyages, they created fabulous works of art. They took the whale bones and they etched in a design into the bones, and then they filled them with ink, and then they wiped away the ink. Well, we don't have whale bones so to use for art. So we have soap that was donated by the Comfort Inn, and little bars of soap. And so you're able to take toothpicks and create a lovely design, and then we spread shoe polish on it, and then we wipe away the shoe polish, and then you've got this lovely little piece of art that takes you back to a different time, a different way of thinking. It's hard to judge mankind for things that they did in the past, and who knows how we'll get judged for what we're doing today. But whale oil was used, and that's what
Yes.
that's what they needed, and that's how they made their livelihood. And so that was, so now we've got a big Portuguese community here, as as well as a Chinese community, a Japanese community, and of course a Sicilian community.
Yes.
And we're trying to keep that Native American culture and history very much alive. And so I think I've told you almost everything.
Yeah.
I know. So there's a
It's
beach and street cleanup on
okay.
Sunday from 11 to 1. And before that is the release from the Marine Mammal Center of their patient at 10 o'clock at Monterey Beach. Now you
That's
have
great.
to be, if you show up, you have to be quiet. You can't talk. No talking.
Okay.
You have to be quiet. And there are volunteers that Marine Mammal Center has organized in order to be to surround the patient, and so you stand behind them. So the couple years ago, it was very cute. 2 sea lions were released. They went galloping to the water. At the water's edge, they kissed, and then they went in the water.
Mary Alice, do they put some kind of something on the animal or the mammal so they know where they're going and how they're
I'm
doing?
pretty sure that they are chipped, or there's
Yeah.
a tracking device of some sort on
Wow.
them. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. One more thing that I forgot to mention is that the symposium is being held in Heritage Harbor. Heritage Harbor
Got
is
it.
owned by the aquarium. And so they have been gracious enough to lend us their conference room for the symposium. Now then,
Perfect. Yeah.
the aquarium protocol will apply if that's what's happening on next Saturday and Sunday. Whatever's happening at the aquarium is what will happen at Heritage Harbor to attend the symposium, which means that one must either show proof of vaccination or a proof of 24-hour test and wear a mask. Now, that's what it is today. Will it be that tomorrow? I really don't know.
Okay, yeah.
So anyway, just be prepared.
Okay.
And I would say that, come prepared to have a lot of fun. The restaurants on Fisherman's Wharf, several of them are creating some unique small bites, and I forgot what they are. But anyway, they should be rather tasty.
Yeah. So this so let's kind of go over it a little bit. This is going to be this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, the 19th and the 20th, from 11 to 5. You've got scientists coming from all over the world. You've got demonstrations. You've got things for kids, families. You've got top-notch entertainment. You've got a symposium. You've got some great education. They're letting they've got a mammal that's in rehabilitation that's going to be sent out to the sea. It's a lot of fun. Everybody's in a good mood. Everybody's happy. And we encourage everybody to go down to the WhaleFest this weekend and say hello to Mary Alice and have some fun. Bring your kids, grab something to eat at Fisherman's Wharf, and just enjoy the day. The weather seems like it's going to be great. So, Mary Alice, we really appreciate you coming on and buzzing with Cousin.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Johnny. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here.
And I appreciate what you do for the WhaleFest, because I know it's a year-round job. And appreciate what you and your family has done on the Monterey Peninsula.
Well, I have to give
60 years or whatever that is. So
I have to give a shout out to the committee. Our committee is just awesome.
Yeah.
Wendy Brickman, Antoinette Saylor, Peggy Stapp. There's another 10 wonderful people who are just constantly thinking about ways to make the WhaleFest a more dynamic, more exciting event. You know, I forgot to thank our sponsors, Fishermen's Wharf Association, the Arts Council for Monterey County, the Monterey Bay Aquarium, California State Parks, Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary Foundation, Marine Life Studies, KSBW and their affiliates, ABC in Australia, Monterey Herald, Glastonbury, the Wecker Group, and Shagbag. So it's really, that takes a village to put on
It
this
takes a
event.
village. We got to shout out to all those people. And if Mary Alice didn't mention you, she appreciates you. And we thank you. And I'd like to shout out to Nicholas Fettis, which is Mary Alice's husband. And he's very instrumental, very supportive. And he's a great piano player and a composer. And he's composed some music for this WhaleFest. So I was telling Mary Alice we're in for a treat today because as we wrap up this show, we're going to play a segment of him playing some beautiful piano. So, Mary Alice, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And, we appreciate you and what you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
WhaleFest Monterey 2022. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Johnny.
Here we go with some great music. And once again, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to Buzzing with Cousin. Thank you, Mary Alice. Thank you, WhaleFest. And stay tuned here. We're gonna finish the show with some beautiful music. Thank you, everybody.
Point Reyes Station with love.